Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode number 2 of 2 Friends Fighting. Once again, I am Robbie.
And I'm Jackson.
And today we are going to talk a little bit more about nutrition, actually. We touched on it last week, but last week we were also kind of all over the place, kind of like...
It was our first episode, right?
Introducing ourselves, kind of going everything we want to talk about, like our favorite topics. Today we kind of focus more on nutrition, the do's and don'ts that we've experienced, and touching on more so like the fighter's weight cut. Because as a personal trainer and Jackson as a former trainer, I think probably the most common question we got asked when people found out that we fought and we hear about the stories of weight cuts, they ask, "Oh, you can lose 20 pounds in a month?"
Or you can lose 20 pounds in a week?
Exactly. Right. Everyone wants those like really fast shortcuts, and I'll tell you that it's possible because we've done it. Like I lost 30 pounds in 3 weeks. You lost what, 20 pounds in a couple days at one point?
I've lost 15 pounds in a week before. I've lost 20 pounds in like 8 days before. And really I think it's an interesting topic because not a whole lot of people really know much about that. People in general don't really know how to lose 5 pounds in a month, right? So diving a little bit deeper into, well, what the fighter goes through in terms of the weight cut, I think that's a pretty interesting topic.
Yeah, absolutely. And what it comes down to is hopefully you have like 6 or 8 weeks. Sometimes you don't. Like I said, one time I lost 30 pounds in 3 weeks because it was short on time.
Yeah,
but
it's the short notice fights that you kind of get caught up with, right?
Absolutely. And those are the ones that sometimes are like the worst weight cuts, sometimes the best ones. But regardless, like we say, before we get into it,
I think we need a disclaimer, right?
It is possible, but it's not maintainable. Okay,
it's not necessarily good for your health to lose 20 pounds in 1 week, for example.
Like two things on that. Again, it's not maintainable because your body has something called a set weight, and it's the weight that it likes to stay at. It might fluctuate within 5 pounds higher or lower, but that's generally the weight that it naturally wants to stay at. And if you drop 20 pounds in a month, your body doesn't have time to adjust. Yeah.
Well, Robbie, you just recently got certified or are in the process of getting certified by...
So I just got certified by ISSA Nutrition, which is a well-recognized nutrition certification. So I'm proud of that. It was not a cheap course, but it was all online, which is good during COVID, and I probably
Did you at least learn something?
I learned a couple things. Nothing I didn't really know, but... already know, but now I can't get sued if I give a bad meal plan, basically.
Yeah.
But going more into that, like...
That's what some people don't get too, right? Like, for example, if you're just a regular personal trainer and your clients ask you, hey, can you prescribe me a meal plan? Technically, you're not supposed to be giving them meal plans if you haven't been a certified nutritionist.
Yeah, it's considered out of your scope of practice, and you can give like little bits of advice, like eat every 2 hours instead of like 2 times a week. But that's the limit.
But a prescribed meal plan is actually I believe it's illegal to do that. Right?
I'm not sure if I would call it illegal, but it's out of your practice. And for example, if it works, you're fine because everyone goes to say, "Oh, I got results, awesome."
Right.
But if you give someone a meal plan and it doesn't work, they are well within their rights to sue you for taking their money for something that's out of your practice.
That's what I meant.
Be careful, yeah. So you can get sued for a lot of money. So hopefully you have insurance. But going back to what we were saying about the fighter's weight cut, like we said, it's doable. But what happens a lot is, and we've also experienced this. Yeah, we lost 20 pounds in a month, 30 pounds in 3 weeks, 15 pounds in 8 days, whatever. Yeah. But Jackson, how fast are you getting that weight back?
Right away.
Exactly.
Right away, absolutely.
Going back to the set weight, in order to actually like drop weight consistently, healthily, the prescribed idea is to go a pound a week, a pound of fat a week, which is to keep it up healthily.
I think the part of the goal of this discussion is to help people who out there who are trying to lose some weight themselves, and they see maybe these athletes, right, these fighters lose 20 pounds in a short period of time, or they see the bodybuilders losing a ton of weight in a short period of time as well. I think that this discussion just highlights that weight that they're losing comes right back on. That's not a long-term plan for anyone.
Yeah.
Right?
This is something they do for their sport, bodybuilding, MMA, Muay Thai, whatever. It is a competitive edge they have, because even the fighters, one of my favorites, Donald Cerrone, he would fight at lightweight. He was my height, 6'1". He was a tall for that weight class.
Yeah.
But they weigh in 24 hours before, so by the time he's fighting, he's back to like 170, 175. He gains.
What's the lowest weight you ever fought at?
Lowest weight I ever fought at was 165. I would drop to that weight in 4-6 weeks, but 2 days later I'd be back. I would drop from 185 back when I was.
Mine was 170.
Yeah, 185
a long time ago.
Exactly, but if I fought on the Saturday, I would be back to 185, 180 by the Monday, because guess what? You put yourself through a very extensive meal plan, what typically means you train twice a day, you eat every 2 hours with very specific things, you really start to reduce your carbs, which takes away your energy. Yeah. And it involves eating the same food every day. Quick example, like oatmeal in the morning, maybe a protein bar for a snack. Turkey, bacon, and egg whites was one of my like go-tos, even though it was like really bland.
For me, it was always baby cucumbers, chicken breast, plain chicken breast, baby cucumbers, and Ezekiel bread. Ezekiel bread is actually amazing.
Yes, it is very good. And there are ways that you can do a weight cut to make it enjoyable for you, but you have to be educated on that, or have someone in your life who is.
But if you've got a short period of time, a short window to cut that weight, you kind of have to resort to extreme measures.
You got to go to the extreme, right? And that also involves like again, train twice a day, but also like training in like sauna suits, because most of the weight they're losing is just pure water, which is why it comes back so fast. And again, going back to that set weight, what your body does after that experience, as soon as you finish the fight, and there's a little voice in your head that says, oh yeah, I'm done fighting now. I don't have to say no to these foods anymore, because you have to deny yourself like your favorite foods a lot. And what that does, like there's the voice in your head that says, okay, if you can't do this, you can't fight. And that becomes your motivation. Yeah. And as soon as that fight's over, that voice is gone, and your ability, or at least happened to me, your ability to say no to like the foods you shouldn't be eating, like cake and stuff like that, as an example, out the window.
You see, I think I had maybe a little bit of an opposite take on that. When I was cutting weight, it's sort of like you have to have that certain level of dedication, right? You have to just be so into what you're doing that you say no to all the excess goods, the sweets, the treats, right? You just have to say no to all of them. For me, yeah, you have those cravings, right? Your body literally is craving sugar. It's craving carbs, right? But once me sort of rehydrated, I still kept that same level of dedication. Knowing that I had another fight to go to afterwards, right? There's always going to be another fight. I've since retired from the fighting game, and I feel my level of iron will has sort of diminished. Like I'm more inclined to say yes to a donut or a slice of cake here and there than I would be if I was still in the fight game.
And that comes back to like what are your goals, right? Like a competitive athlete can kind of keep that like mental drive, but once they stop, like perfect example. Do you remember Mark Munoz, the Filipino wrecking machine?
Oh yes,
phenomenal fighter, lean as hell. He fought in the UFC middleweight division.
He's looking thick.
I think I can't remember who he was.
3 C's.
Yeah, almost hitting 4. Yeah, like you said, he's looking thick. Like he was super lean when he was fighting, and we saw him on camera as like in a coaching position on another fighter's like height video, and he gained weight. Like his dedication to like his nutrition clearly went out the window, and that comes down to like more health issues. Because little backtrack here, when I was 21, 22 during my first weight cut, no idea what I was doing. I had those 5 to 6 weeks, but my body was like in shock, because like you have never done this before. You've had
that's the thing. There's
naturally.
There's not really any sort of guide that you can go to. There's not one specific plan where it says do this, do this, do this, and that's the best form of a weight cut. That's the most healthy form of a weight cut.
You can find like 175 other meal plans out there by
not even just weight cutting, diets in general, right?
So much out there.
Somebody will tell you, oh, you have to eat no carbs. Another person will tell you, yeah, you have to eat carbs. This person will tell you just eat vegetables, no meat. The other person will tell you eat plenty of protein, eat plenty of chicken, lean meat, right?
Absolutely.
So there's all these different opinions out there, and who's to say which one's correct? It's really what works for you.
Exactly, and that's a great point. Like every diet you'll find is capable of working. And then, first of all, don't call it a diet because then you're literally dying, right?
Yeah.
You got to find like a meal plan that supplements your lifestyle and something that you can stick to because a
diet really implies that it's temporary, right?
Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
It's like the fighting diet. It's not maintainable, and that's why these fighters will jump back up 20 pounds in a couple days. That's why we did it, and why my first weight cut, my immune system was like, I did it wrong because I was 21, 22, no idea what I was doing, just had to get this weight down, and I did it. But during my training camp, my immune system was so low that like I guess I got some sort of bacterial infection, and I'm not sure if you remember this at all. I had this really disgusting like mountainous, like it looked like the Rocky Mountains of pimples and like blisters like on my forehead.
I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I must have got cut or something like that, and some sort of bacteria was getting there, and my body couldn't fight it off, and it was just so gross.
Yeah.
And luckily, by the time I fought, it was gone. But that like scared me. So after that, I definitely did more research, and my body got used to it as well.
Yeah.
But that also comes down to like your ability to maintain it, right? Because you can try anything for a couple weeks and then not see results. Consistency is the main thing, and you got to find what you are able to be consistent with. For example, recently, I'm not sure I might be still doing this. You're doing intermittent fasting, or did you stop?
I still am doing intermittent fasting. I find that it does work for me.
Exactly. And would you mind explaining what intermittent fasting is?
Yeah. So for the people that are not really familiar with intermittent fasting, it really talks about a period of time where you are not eating, you're fasting, right? So typically there's a certain window that you don't eat. There's usually around a 16-hour window, at least for men, and for women, it's more around the 12 to 14-hour window, according to some of the papers and the research that I've seen. And what that's supposed to do is supposed to get your body ready to consume calories once you begin eating again.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly 100% certain on what the science is. All I know is that while I'm in that fasted state, I feel full of energy, and I actually really like exercising while fasting as well, doing fasted cardio, and I find that I get a lot of gains from that.
Yep.
How about yourself? Have you tried out intermittent fasting at all?
So no, because as soon as I heard I couldn't eat for 16 hours straight, I was like, hell to the no, because what I always learned, and again, what worked for me was eating actually smaller portions every 2 hours. And the science behind that one is that your metabolism is like, I explain it to my clients and to friends who ask, think of like a hamster on a wheel, right? The wheel's moving, and the wheel is your metabolism. The hamster is your metabolism, and the wheel is your body, right?
Okay.
Your metabolism has to keep moving, and when if you don't feed the hamster, it stops, it gets tired, and the wheel stops going, right? What happens is your body, if you don't eat for a while, your metabolism stops, and when you eat something, your body's like, well, I'm not sure when we're going to eat again, so I'm going to store this as like fats, because fats are actually, you do need them. Don't stop eating them.
Yeah.
They are
healthy forms of fat.
Exactly, like avocados or a handful of almonds is a great snack.
Eggs too.
Exactly. Your body will store your food as fats, because food, like I said, fats is longer lasting energy. So at least that way, your body can continue burning fats until your next meal, because your body isn't sure when it's going to eat again. But say you eat consistently every 2 hours, and you feed the hamster, that wheel keeps going, and your body conserves the carbs more, and because the carbs are your fast burning fuels.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think it's a good thing that we have you here, Rob, because I think that I'm more of like the I have more of like the gym bro mentality on nutrition, and we have you who recently passed a course on nutrition. So I think you can actually give insight to some of these sort of theories that maybe the average gym bro or gym girl might have, right?
Yeah. And there's a lot of different theories out there, so feel free to hit me with some. But the main thing is, all of these nutrition plans, or whatever you want to call them, they are capable of working for you if you can stick with them. The consistency is the main thing. If you try it for 4 days and get upset, then, well, of course, I'm not going to be able to do it, right? You got to be something that's maintainable.
So what do you make of the ketogenic diet then, right? So the people in favor of a ketogenic diet, and a ketogenic diet just refers to how you're not consuming carbs, right? You're putting your body into a state of ketosis.
Yeah.
Okay. So the people that are in favor of a ketogenic diet suggest that, okay, it might suck for the first week, it might suck for the first month, but after a certain period of time, it works for them. What do you have to say to that?
And I think, like exactly what I just said before, right? It's capable of working, but it has to be what works for you. Right? Like I said, everything is possible. It depends on who you are as a person, right? So my idea of ketosis is a difficult state to come by. Like, bodybuilders, like the highest level bodybuilders, will train for years to be able to put their body into that ketosis state. So if you're able to get there through your nutrition, I think it's awesome if it works for you, because it does take that willpower, right? So honestly, the best thing I suggest for people, depending on the level, like if you're a really beginner, get a coach, someone who can help you through it and give you actual meal plan, do a consultation. Everyone out there is offering a free consultation. It's a great idea, and try something. If you're a little more experienced and you know you've been to the gym for a couple of years, you've done some diets here and there. Trial and error. Yeah. Try something that works for you.
I think that's the biggest thing, right? Trial and error.
Yeah, but you can't try it for like a week. You got to give yourself a few months of each one.
I think really what it comes down to is the dedication that people have, right?
That's it.
What exactly do you want from yourself? Okay, and then what are you willing to do for that ideal picture of yourself?
Oh yeah, you have to have your goal image or your goal body in your mind, and everything you do, you have to visualize. Like it's like putting rent into your house, or like saving up for a house. Every money you make, you put in the bank. Don't visualize yourself putting your money into your house and getting the house eventually filled.
For sure.
Every time you eat something properly.
A lot of the time, people in general, they're not used to long-term versus short-term gains, right? So the short-term benefit of eating a donut, for example, is I'm happy right now. I'm eating this donut. This donut tastes great. It sends those positive endorphins rushing through your body that make you feel good while you're eating the donut, right? But people aren't usually willing to sacrifice those short-term benefits for something that they would consider to be a more long-term benefit, like their health, like their physical fitness, their physical attractiveness.
It's that instant gratification they want, right? And you're absolutely right. People are focused more on right now versus like what they really want, and a lot of people aren't able to like get over that little hump.
And just to say, I myself, I'm not above this short-term gratification over long-term gratification. It's always a struggle. There's always the fight. Hey, friends asking you to come to a party. Do you want to come eat all this food at the party? Maybe have a couple of adult beverages at the party, or do you want to stay home and run on the treadmill for 30 minutes? Right? It's constantly a struggle in life. Life has its struggles. It's just about what you're willing to give up to achieve what you're looking for, right?
And that was part of the hardest parts about our fight camps, right? Like, because most of the fights are, guess what, like in the summertime, whether it's warm, you can do things outside. Guess what? Your friend has a birthday, your friends want to go out because it's warm outside, it's patio season. Guess what? You got to drop 20 pounds in a couple weeks. You can't go eat that burger. Yeah. You can't go drink that beer because that's empty calories.
Absolutely.
Obviously. So it is that level of pure dedication, and that's why like what happened was for me, because I was fighting, like, I was able to use that like that voice in my head is like, okay, you gotta skip this for now and then have fun later. And it can and the main thing is you have to build like a healthy relationship with your food and your goals, because what I did was wrong. I was
and
like,
your mindset too, right?
yeah,
Like your mindset.
What I did was very wrong. I was like, don't do it now. Focus on the fight. Have fun with it, and then you can have fun later. Even those words, have fun later, like.
And you can't hate yourself. You can't hate yourself for enjoying some of life's pleasures, right? You can't hate yourself for going out at night with your friends and having a good time, having some food, having some drinks, right?
Nope,
you can't be down in the dumps for enjoying life, right? It's about making sacrifices, right? You have to find what you're going to be comfortable with. Like currently right now, I'm not at my peak level of fitness.
Same.
I'm okay with that though. Because I know what it takes to get to peak fitness. Peak fitness, all those people that you see on Instagram, like The Rock, for example, like if you see like any of the fitness models that are like completely shredded, those people have to give up so much to live the life that they're living, right?
They have that dedication.
They're constantly eating plain chicken breast and vegetables every meal, right? They'll post on Instagram their cheat meal, right? Once every 2 weeks, they have a slice of pizza, right? But all those other meals, they're not posting on Instagram. They're not posting their chicken breast today, chicken breast for lunch, chicken breast for dinner.
Because that doesn't sell.
Doesn't sell, right? Hey, I'm a regular person too. I'm eating pizza.
Exactly.
Right.
And absolutely right. It comes down to your dedication and what are you willing to do to get to your goals. And it depends what your goals are. You got to eat for your goals. And there's nothing wrong with having a good time, because guess what? You can have some bad foods on certain days. If your goal is the steady maintenance weight loss, like a pound a week is doable, and you can have a couple bad things to eat, right? But it's something called carb cycling.
Yeah.
On a day where you work out really a lot harder, then sure, you can have some carbs and cheat foods. On a day maybe you have to miss a workout, maybe that's when you don't eat so much bad food, right?
And that also reminds me of just timing of when you're eating too. So the timing of when you're consuming carbs versus protein versus et cetera, right? So what I'm under the impression, and I want to see your opinion of this, is the best time to eat carbs is around your workout. So either before or after, because you're going to be using those carbs as fuel for the workout or as a recovery after the workout.
Yep. So one of the best 100% times to eat your carbs is definitely like anytime, I wouldn't say too soon, like between 3 to 1, like 1 to 3 hours before you work out, because then you have that instant energy and it's that fast burning fuel.
And you need time to digest it. You need time for it to be converted into sugar.
What happened to us last week? We had like pulled pork sandwiches and tried to eat and tried to train right after. We were just like sitting heavy in our stomachs.
Felt terrible.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty. But then after your workout, like even during, you have some BCAAs, whatever, you don't need supplements, but if you feel like they help, then go for it. No problem with that. That's at least for me, my best time to have my protein is after my workout. And you have that 30-minute to like 2-hour window to get your proteins in, really fill yourself back up. Whatever proteins you want to use, whether it's from food or you don't have a lot of time, so you use supplements like a protein shake, does not matter. Well,
I know a lot of people that would actually eat some sort of candy before or after their workout, and these would be pretty well off fit people, right? That would eat like maybe gummy worms or Sour Patch Kids or something like that. And what they told me is, this is going to be fuel for my workout, or this is fuel after my workout.
That absolutely does work 100%. But as you said yourself, they're already pretty well off fit people, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Their bodies have been trained a certain way, and they've been doing this for a long time. If you are a beginner to fitness, don't be eating gummy worms right before you work out, because your body's not used to that yet, right? Yeah. You got to start fueling yourself properly first, and then as your body adapts to certain things, then you can start incorporating some more cheat meals. Because unfortunately, say you're 30 pounds overweight, something like that, you're not in the best shape of your life, not calling anybody out, just giving an example of a template, and you start a meal plan, and you're on your first week, you have a cheat meal. Well, your body hasn't changed yet. Your body hasn't adapted this new style yet. You got to take like a while of eating clean, start seeing some results, and then once your body adapts to that, then you can throw in a cheat meal. Because again, with bodybuilders, they have to have the cheat meals every now and then, which is why I'd never bodybuild, by the way, because like what we do for like 6 weeks, they'll do it for like 6 months.
Yeah.
Right? Because they get to get that body to that perfect sculpted state. and they can't even hit anybody. They just gotta stand there and pose. And again, not bashing bodybuilders, not bashing them at all. They have their goals, they have their sport, they love it.
Yeah.
But for me, if I'm gonna put myself through that physical and mental, for lack of a better word, hell of eating, I'm gonna hit somebody.
You're looking to have some fun,
I'm gonna hit somebody.
Have some fun in the ring.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit somebody.
True, yeah.
But where's it going with this? They have their goals, and they've been eating clean for a certain amount of time. Mm-hmm. And what happens is your body hits a plateau. The human body is a fantastic adapter to certain things. So whenever it adapts, you hit a plateau. So what do they do to get over that plateau? They have a cheat meal, and that cheat meal, although that junk food, whatever they might have, acts almost like as like a Kickstarter again to like restart the metabolism, so they keep on metabolizing faster. That happened to me too, actually, in my final weight cut before.
Because, sorry to cut you off,
No
but
problem.
so I just want to sort of highlight this point. I think you might be going a little bit deeper into it as well. But that restart button is very, very key, because if you're just eating chicken breast and vegetables, then your body just expects that to be the normal level of fuel, right? And you're not necessarily going to continue to shed any weight. Whereas when you hit that restart button with that cheat meal, I've just ate 3,000, maybe 4,000 calories today. Okay, now your body's like, okay, it needs to start burning more calories.
Your body's not used to that kind of calories anymore. So it's like, oh man, I got to work harder to burn this off. And it's like a restart, but also it's a restart for your brain too, because you've tasted flavor for the first time in how many weeks?
Yeah,
you're a little more revitalized. And you're like, you probably have I guarantee you have like a great workout next time.
Yeah.
Because like my last weight cut, I was feeling good actually, losing weight, and I was like, screw it, I'm gonna have an ice cream sandwich. And I went to like Unionville and got like 2 cookies and ice cream in between. And I had a great workout. Actually, I had a workout. It was great. Went there, ate that, and the next day I was actually lighter.
Yeah.
So again, it's exactly what happened, and that's me in like 6 weeks versus a bodybuilder doing that for like God knows how many months.
One of the funniest weight cutting stories I have of you is, do you remember when you were fighting? You just finished making weight, and then we went to Tim Hortons, and you started like scarfing back like donuts or something.
Yeah, I don't remember if it was. Oh my God! Yeah.
You remember that?
No, that was provincials, right, in Brampton, and I think
could have been.
We were at that ice rink, which, by the way, provincial tournaments. You're there all day. There's one ring, hundreds of fighters. You were sitting there all day waiting for your turn, and I don't know who you brought salted almonds, thank God, but someone else brought Timbits, and I had made weight, and I was just couldn't stop,
scarfing back,
just crushing it.
Well, I have a pretty funny one as well, like similar to that, in that vein. I remember when I was fighting for the Nationals, and was it Nationals, or it could have been a different time, but I had made weight, and this is when we went to go get Thai food afterwards.
Yeah.
Right? But the next day, I was still in such a hunger so I made weight on the Friday, and we were fighting on the Saturday. I had to fight on Saturday and Sunday. But anyways, on the Saturday, I was still like so hungry. I still felt so hungry that I went to eat, maybe I had pizza or something like that on that day. And then I went to Booster Juice to get a smoothie. Mm-hmm. Bad idea. I was already full after the pizza. I don't even think it was pizza. I had something to eat. But then I went to go get Booster Juice after that too. And little did I know, I didn't want to stick around at the tournament waiting for my fight to come up. So I was just out and about, like going to eat, right? And then I get the call from our corner man, and he tells me, "Hey, where are you? You're going to be fighting in like 20 minutes." So I haven't even got to the place that we're fighting yet, and I'm like completely bloated. I feel sick to my stomach because I ate so much. I probably wouldn't feel sick to my stomach if my stomach hadn't shrank from the weight cut. Mm-hmm. That's another one of the issues, right? I felt so full, but I had to fight. And lucky for me, it turned out well. I ended up stopping the guy, I think in the second round or something like that, first or second round. I think it was a knee to the body. But yeah, I did not feel good in that fight. And then the day after, I made sure to not overdo it with the food, and that one also turned out good. Yeah.
And that's part of the learning process too, right? Especially in like your first few weeks and first couple of fights, you're going to learn like what your body can handle. Like a similar story. Like after my first fight, I ate fine. I felt good during the fight. I unfortunately came up short. Hometown problems. You fight the hometown guy, suddenly it's like, oh, whatever he does.
It's always some sort of split decision catastrophe, right?
Yeah. Regardless, nothing about that. Like a fight's a fight. Win or lose, you learn something. What I learned was afterwards, don't immediately go to have a beer, because our friend, one of our friends, his name is Phil, bought me like a beer, and when I'm cutting weight, I don't drink at all, like just water basically.
Yeah. And
that beer actually tasted terrible. Maybe it was the beer, maybe it was the fact that I hadn't had it, but like your body also gets used to like what you're eating, which in a lot of cases is good, because then you just get used to eating healthy and your body feels good. And then sometimes when you eat like crap, your body doesn't react the way you want it to, and you actually feel like lethargic. Because what happened to me was I couldn't finish that beer because it didn't taste the way I remembered it.
Yeah.
I also bought myself a hot dog, and I had one bite, gave it to my buddy Tim, and like I said, one bite, I was like, oh, Tim, hold this. Walked to the washroom, and I immediately threw up. Like, I hurled out everything I ate before the fight, after the fight. And then, like, the day after, my friends, like, that I hadn't seen in a while because I was not going to the bar with them. They invited me out. And what we used to do when we got to the bar was order Jaeger Bomb, which, by the way, terrible idea. Just don't do it. Jaeger Bomb, for those of you guys
don't do it before, after a fight. Just never drink Jaeger Bombs.
Yeah, no, it was terrible. We used to have that. I was younger.
Be responsible.
It is a
Robbie?
mixture of. I'm working on it. It's a mixture of Jägermeister and Red Bull. Terrible. I used to do that shot and then just keep drinking, like as a pre-drink or something like that. It's like for energy. Man, I had to take that one Jaeger Bomb, and I sat down at the table for the rest of the night, not drinking a thing, because your tolerance goes down so far.
Well, I think it's also your liver, right? Like your liver must be used to eating so clean, right?
And
throughout that weight cut,
and not processing alcohol for a few weeks. It's like a muscle. It atrophies, for lack of a better, or maybe it gets even healthier because you don't destroy it with alcohol.
So I do want to sort of switch topics here.
Okay.
So some fights happened over the weekend, and we might be releasing this the week after they happened, but did you see that knockout that has been broadcast everywhere? Joe Rogan posted on his Instagram. Everyone's really talking about it. It's I think the guy's name was Joaquin Buckley. So if you haven't seen it, you can go on YouTube. Joaquin Buckley versus Impa Kasanganay. Check it out. It's one of the craziest knockouts you've ever seen, right?
I can guarantee you, if it doesn't win knockout of the year, I'm just going to lose my faith in the judges because it's like the dream knockout to have.
Yeah.
The guy got his, I believe his teep caught, or his front kick.
I think he was throwing a kick. Buckley was throwing a kick, right? And then Kasanganay caught it. And what happened was Buckley jumped off the foot that was already on the ground, did a spinning back kick to the guy's face, and instantly his whole body just shut down. He turned into the robot in midair like this.
And just was out.
And fell flat on his back.
It is literally the dream knockout of any young fighter, just whether you're learning how to spar.
It looked like a video game or like an action movie. Like it looked fake almost.
Yeah, that's going to 100% be in his highlight reel for the rest of his fighting career. And unfortunately for the other guy you mentioned, he's going to be someone's highlight reel. Because it's hard to come back from that.
Nobody really talks about that, right? The guy who gets knocked out, like having that shame of having to see that highlight broadcast on SportsCenter, the top 20 plays of the month or the top 10 knockouts of the year. It's the knockout of the year right now.
You don't want to be that guy. Like, funny enough, actually, like speaking of that, like, do you remember Joe Lozon? So former lightweight fighter in the UFC. Yeah,
I think he might still be in the UFC.
I haven't seen him fight in a long time, but maybe. He's actually a very good sport about it. One of Anthony Pettis' highlights is him head kicking Joe Lozon and just putting him out flat.
Yeah.
And it was like one of the top knockouts of whatever year that was.
And this was 10 times crazier.
Exactly.
This was 10 times crazier.
But Joe Lozon was like, well, I made the UFC's best knockouts. If only it wasn't me getting knocked out. But it was funny. He was a good sport.
That's a good sport. That's being a good sport about it.
I mean, but that was just a regular head kick. So this head kick, the spinning one, it's going to be hard. I think it'll be hard for this guy to Like
I said, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. That's Joaquin Buckley versus Impa Kasanganay. If you just type in Joaquin Buckley on YouTube,
it'll probably be the first thing that comes up. Because like I said, Joe Rogan posted about it, the UFC posted about it, and it's going over. It's the questions are KO of the year in question marks already. It's absolutely nuts. It's like, it's something you'd never think is going to happen, but it happened at the highest level.
And on the same card, the main event, Corey the Sandman Sandhagen versus Marlon Moraes, right? That ended in a spinning wheel kick
to the dome as well. Yeah,
to the dome.
Yep. Like, so it was definitely a great weekend for the UFC in terms of like their highlights.
Yeah.
Because the last few events I've witnessed have been like a little bit lackluster. So for these guys to come in there and show it up on.
That's the thing.
And it was a free event too.
Yeah.
It wasn't even pay-per-view.
Not every fight that they show is going to be a good fight.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, for me, I'm like not a gold digger and like
I was gonna say, watch your words there, bud.
I'm like hunting for gold when I'm watching these UFC fights. I'm looking for the Joaquin Buckley KOs. I'm looking for the Corey Sandhagen spinning wheel
you
kicks.
And everybody else, like,
yeah,
especially the fans who don't actually train. That's all I want to see.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas like
it attracts all the casuals, right?
Whereas you see like a dude just two dudes grappling the entire time, it's not going to be as exciting unless you're like a BJJ practitioner and you're just like, oh man, look at these guys' skill.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen for 90% of the fans, maybe more.
Yeah.
But so it was definitely a great card.
So Robbie, we're coming up to that point in the podcast. We started this segment last week. We called it "What Are You Fighting For?" Right? So I'd like to get your opinion. What are you what thing would you like to highlight today? What thing do you feel strongly about? What are you fighting for, Robbie?
Well, I'm fighting for what we talked about today. Like, honestly, like, yes, as possible as it is to lose 20, 30 pounds in a month, don't make that your goal if you want to maintain your weight loss, okay? Start with a small goal, a SMART goal, which is a very common thing in fitness. Think like a pound a week, right? And don't expect your results to come in that month, because if they do, you will lose them in 2 days. So what am I fighting for is educating people on smart, healthy, sustainable weight loss.
Yeah.
How about you, Jackson?
Sort of in the same vein. I'm looking to fight for everyone just doing their best, okay? Doing their best in terms of what they're eating, doing their best in terms of their exercising, but also doing their best in terms of their mindset, right? If you don't necessarily want to lose 50 pounds, if you don't necessarily want to look like a fitness model, do your best in terms of being happy with what you have currently, right? Do your best with your friends and your family, right? Don't be mean to people. Try to just generally be your best person that you can possibly be.
I think that's a great thing you said there, especially in this crazy time of COVID with Toronto, Ottawa going back into like whatever lockdown, with gyms closing again. A lot of businesses are like closing down, some of them permanently. People are barely scraping by. So if you can be nice to people now, it'll go a long way, because you don't know what someone's going through.
Even like in your hard times, obviously you're going to be doing your best. You got to keep fighting to get back into those good times. But when you're in those good times, cherish those good times, but also be nice to people. Don't think that you're some hot shit because you're on top right now, right? Life's a roller coaster. You might be on top 1 second, you might be on the bottom the next second. So be nice to people and treat others the way you want to be treated, right?
Just because you're doing well doesn't mean you're better than anybody else. Treat people the way that you want them to treat you, and good things will come by. 100%.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Everyone, thank you for tuning into our second podcast. Tune again next week.
Two Friends Fighting is going up. We're like a rocket ship. Okay.
Hey, this is the up phase. Hopefully there's 0 down phases, but that's life. It's like a heartbeat. It's like a heartbeat.
Right, we're doing our best though, Robbie.
We're doing our best. But like I said, life is a heartbeat. If it's going like this, you're dead. There's going to be ups and downs.
That's right. That's right. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Thank you for listening. I'm Jackson.
I'm Robbie.
And this is Two Friends Fighting.
Thank you, guys.